guys. It's Friday, 8:19 a.m. Eastern Time. It's about 37 degrees out. And I'm driving to Windsor, New Hampshire, which is about an hour from where I live. So I'm doing a show. I haven't done one because I've had about a 5-minute ride to work for the past couple of weeks, which has been really nice, but I don't have time to do a show before work, at least from the road, which seems to be the easiest way for me to have a quiet space to speak my mind. Been reading the Super Gospel a lot lately, and just as always, it allows me to see things that are even in the regular canon that I missed, or I didn't realize it in that context before. Like for instance, when Jesus saw all the his disciples out on the sea, and I never realized that he was like in the woods praying on a mountain, or like in that area when he saw them out on the sea. So apparently he had some type of godlike sight that obviously human can see that far, but just things like that I never noticed. It might even be that I didn't look. I was listening to it, so I didn't look it up and how many texts were combined to create that view. So I don't know if it was just Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the regular four Gospels, that created that view of Jesus looking upon the disciples on the sea, or if it was some other texts that were added to the four Gospels we know of to give that view. Because a lot of times when you add the other books that were removed, it adds like a third dimension to what you're looking at, and that happens a lot in the Super Gospel. But I just don't know if that was the case this time. It might have just been a straight four Gospel view, and I just never noticed it before. That happens also. So this is the thing that happens when you accept the books that are the wisdom texts that Jesus reserved for the end of time. We now have history behind us. We know what the different churches have done to God's word. We know that Peter, the Christian church, has denied God's word. We know that John is the only one that is going to do the work, because Peter never fed the sheep the 3 times that he was supposed to. The Christian church did not feed the young sheep like they were supposed to. The Christian church at large, whether it's the whore daughter of Babylon or the whore itself, it doesn't really matter. So the whore is the Catholic Church, and the whore daughters are the different churches that have come from Catholicism, whether it's the Baptist Church, the Episcopalian Church, the Seventh-day Adventist Church. It doesn't matter. All these people have thought over the history time, that they've basically been right all along, and the fact is they've been wrong all along. The Seventh-day Adventists have it wrong because they don't understand the true meaning of the Sabbath, which is explained in the Epistle of Barnabas, which was removed. They don't understand a lot of different things that these different denominations teach are wrong, and so they don't understand the true meaning and the spiritual meaning that was once delivered unto the saints at first. And that's why all these different people were murdered back in the day, is because they were teaching the truth, which Jesus told everybody, this is all going to get squelched, but it will rise again in the end times. And this is also what Enoch prophesied, that his book was not for his generation, but a remote generation who will be living in the days when the wicked and the ungodly will be removed from the earth. So this is the time that's now. Everybody's waiting for a rapture that was created by another denominational teacher, I think Joseph Darby, or I don't know his name, who cares what their names. These people, they just come up with these ideas, and they make stuff up. And it says that all over the internet, it says all different ideas about the rapture and when it's coming and this is happening, and they all can't be right. I'm not saying that Jesus isn't going to protect us in the end times. He does, but I don't know what kind of protection it's going to be. I don't know, because if if you read the super gospel with the books removed, it tells you that the Antichrist is going to take. So there's going to be battling between Enoch and Elijah, the two witnesses in Israel, with the Antichrist. And when this happens and he kills the two witnesses and they like prove him wrong and all these different things that happen, it's going to piss the Antichrist off, and he's going to come after the Christians also, the only ones that are left. After the Mark of the Beast is instituted and all this stuff. Once all that stuff is instituted, it's going to be like there's barely any Christians left alive anyway. Like that's what Jesus said too. Might not even be any flesh left alive when he returns. That's how bad it's going to be. So imagine amongst those people how many Christians would be left when they're murdered and persecuted. Not many. So the elect are going to be alive, and Jesus is going to burn up the earth like in the movie Knowing, which is evil, which has the actor, I can't think of his name right now. Dude. So number one, this is Nicolas Cage. So Nicolas Cage is in the movie I just said, Knowing, which talks about the world being just like burnt up, and that's what actually happens in Enoch. The wicked and the evil people are all destroyed, and the earth is destroyed basically, and all of the elect walk upon the ashes of the dead. That's what it says in the books that they took out, that the Antichrist is going to torture certain Christians and like put lime juice in their nose and like rip out all their fingernails one by one and like pour like all different kinds of like toxic substances up their noses. And it says that the Christians that can't endure this type of torture, once they hear about it and they don't want to like deal with it, they're going to run away with their gold and silver into the wilderness, but they don't actually get to spend 1,000 years with Christ on earth, and on the earth heaven combo thing that he creates in the end times or whatever, that we can traverse both. And not only can we traverse both, we're going to be immortal at this point, so we can serve God properly in a world that is run by Jesus, ruled by God. And so anyways, whatever. So moving on. So this is like what I'm saying about the people petrifying in the woods because they took their gold and silver and all this stuff. This is all in the Super Gospel. You can read it for yourself right now. It's online. It's on YouTube. It's on scripturelifeandtruth.com in word form and audio on YouTube, but it's all free. So people currently in the churches think there's going to be some type of rapture that floats them out of here like before all this stuff happens. This is not true. And it's funny that because the Knowing movie is Nicolas Cage about the rapture slash like the kids in the movie get taken and then basically all the humans get killed or whatever that aren't taken or whatever, which is not biblical in my opinion, but whatever. So then Nicolas Cage is in Snake Eyes, which is also a prefiguring of the Charlie Kirk shooting. Then Nicolas Cage is also in a new movie called The Carpenter's Son, which is the name of my channel, which is a mockery horror slash evil creepy movie where Nicolas Cage, I guess, plays Jesus, the Carpenter's Son, which is the play on words that I used, and they didn't even like copyright infringe me, but they take my stuff off YouTube for copyright infringement or whatever. But then they copyright infringe me in Hollywood. Nobody bats an eye at that. But anyways, so the Carpenter's Son movie with Nicolas Cage is about like all the other books basically that they took out, the infancy gospels and all these other books. Like like parts of it are talking about all that stuff, and then they twist it and make it into like some evil, sadistic, weird thing, which no doubt there were demons that were being rebuked by Jesus, but that's not like the way they're portraying this movie, and they don't have to like make it the way that they made it. Like, yeah, demons do weird things for people, but it's like it's not something that I would condone, this movie. So I just think it's funny that they take the tax evading Nicolas Cage out of retirement from his bewilderment in prison or wherever he went, and like all the things he had to go through, all his shaming that he went through, and then comes out the other side, and now he's making all these weird movies. Like he's done the weirdest movies since like his hiatus, I swear. Like, and the same thing with like Mel Gibson, like does Passion of the Christ, gets harassed on the side of the highway saying the Jews did this and the Jews did that, and then all of a sudden, then he's like, all his face is different. He's had plastic surgery on his eyes. He's got a beard now, and then he's trying to start some Christian movie company with other people that are supposed Christians who are not Christians. Besides the fact that all these people are Catholics who worship idols and demons live in idols. So, and the fact that demons live in idols is in almost every single book that they remove from the Bible. Every single one, like, talks about the fact that idols can talk. Even Jesus in the Super Gospel many times tells idols to come down from where they are and start talking to these people, because he knows that they can. So he tells the statues, go tell these people who I am. And they're like, and the statues say, this is Jesus. Like, I think they don't say he's a son of God. Maybe sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It depends. And it's like part of this thing where Jesus is trying to hide who he truly is, because like they might say this and that about him, but nobody really understands that he's actually God, like God the Father type thing, because he's God the Father and he's God the Son and he's God the Holy Spirit, because they're three and they're one. But nobody really fully understands that, and the devil didn't even fully understand that. So like, because even humans, we have such a finite mind. Like right now, there's mist above me. Like, I don't know if you can see it in the background of my back windshield, but there's like a huge mist above, which is water. But there's also rain somewhere else, which is water. But there's also ice somewhere else that's also water. So how could all these things be water, but they're three different things? It's similar to that, which I use it all the time as a metaphor. But if you can't grasp that, it's going to be very difficult to grasp a God that is many different things, but also one thing, if that makes sense. So anyways, one of the books that says that there's demons living in statues is the Testament of Job, which they removed in this book. At the beginning, they tell you how holy of a man Job really was, and they explain why he was holy for the things that he did. He had a big room that like made baked bread all day for the whole area that he lived or whatever, and he would open the back doors and let the homeless come in and take the bread anytime they wanted, like whatever they wanted. If a dude that worked for him, like, went away and came back, but he was robbed on his way, he never tried to get the money back from the person that was robbed. He would be like, oh, you owe me this money or you're going to prison type of thing. He never like exacted interest upon other people. See what I'm saying? Like, there's all these things that he did. He was always kind to the travelers that would come through his province. This is something that Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed for, what I'm talking about. They were not kind to people when they came through their province. They would let anybody anybody who wanted to come into Sodom and Gomorrah could come in, but when you came in through the gates, they don't let you leave, and nobody will feed you or give you anything to drink or to eat, so that you die. And then when you die, so you come in, they give you clothes, they give you money, they give you all these things, they give you all this stuff, but no food and water. So then you die, and they take back what they gave to you, and then they also exact more back from you than what they had given to you. And they take all your clothes, and you're dead, so you don't care. They're taking all your stuff. This is the common practice in Sodom and Gomorrah. In fact, it was almost like imposed as law. That's why you see the angels were being harassed, not only for this reason, but then also because they were fair and looked nice. So then all the people wanted to have sex with them, which is like a very evil thing to do, to try to have sex with a pure being. And it says that when they were leaving, number one, they don't tell you in the Bible why the woman turned to salt. The reason she turned to salt is because she exposed. Remember the woman that was in Jericho, who was a whore? She was a whore. She sold her body sexually for money. Yet her heart was in the right place as a person, because she hid the two spies so they would not be found out. This is the will of God that she accomplished by doing this. The woman who, Lot's wife, who turned to salt, she gossiped about the angels and said that they were this and that two men came or whatever to like visit them in the night to a neighbor. She pretended like she needed to go get salt from a neighbor so that she could gossip about the angels and admit to the neighbor that there were people in her house, which was illegal to have. So then when they were leaving, because she looked back upon the sins of her land, she wanted that life back in her spirit. She then turned to salt, which was the thing that she was requesting in her act of betraying the two spies that came the two angels that came into Sodom and Gomorrah for Lot and his family to be saved and removed from there before it was destroyed. to this day, the pillar of salt still stands to this day. If you turn over rocks, you'll find that they have pitch and like bitumen or whatever it is that turns like volcanic like or whatever. That's like what they're finding in these areas that this happened. So, which was where Sodom and Gomorrah used to be. So, in the story, they also tell you that the angel Michael took his little pinky and flipped Sodom and Gomorrah over, and it crushed on itself before the fire came down and destroyed the city. That's why you see not a lot of like standing remnants of the city, but then there's like these balls of bitumen that you can still light on fire. Like they're little balls of like black tar on the bottom side of rocks. It's like weird how it could have happened that way, unless what I'm saying is true, and I think it comes from the legends of the Jews. So, switching gears for a second, yesterday I was listening to a podcast by Jordan Peterson and some other dude that were talking about the origins of communism and like who Karl Marx really was and like what he was like. And he was like, they said he was like, all his friends would say that he was like very satanic. A lot of times people refer to him as demon possessed. He refused to bathe and shower. He had boils all over him. Now, these boils I'm talking about sound similar to the ones that Herod had on his body that burst open his guts and he died at the end after murdering all the babies and bathing in their blood to try to be cured from his sicknesses. And he killed John the Baptist. So, Karl Marx and communism, or like this all, like late 1800s, early 1900s, I think is when this all was taking place. Blah blah blah. Communism and Karl Marx have influenced the murder of millions and hundreds of millions of people, and I believe truly that that's why he was demon possessed, and the fact that he was filthy and disgusting and never wanted to shower and had to bum money off people all the time and refused to work, and he was lazy and he would like scam people for money, including his own family members and things like that. The filthy part of him is interesting because there is a story of a kid that murdered a bunch of people and put him like in his backyard, and it's like a documentary, and it's like in America, and the dude, he was demon possessed, and he would talk about how he was demon possessed, and he would like talk to his friends about murdering people and like whisper in their ear about murdering people. And this kid, when he came in the house, the house was disgustingly filthy. It was like rotting food everywhere, like never picked up any trash, like everything that he's basically ever used or like bought or whatever is like still in the house. It's like hoarding, but like on another level of filth, and there's like satanic markings in the basement and stuff like that. The way that they described Karl Marx was the same way that this kid acted. And so I really feel like there's some connection between people that live a filthy lifestyle and like don't take care of themselves and are disgusting all the time and don't shower and is like nasty and like filthy and germs and stuff. I really feel like that's a very like a demonic thing. Now, I know they say like cleanliness is next to godliness, and I know that some people don't have the opportunity to clean like perfectly all the time. Maybe they don't have money and stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that have a way to do it and they choose to live a filthy lifestyle. Like Marx didn't have to be that way. He chose to on purpose. He always thought everybody owed him something. They owed him money, like socialism basically. He like wanted there to be equal money for everybody, but that's not how it works in a communist society. The leaders at the top have all the power and the money, and all the peons and all the people below them in the caste society, they don't have anything. Like there's nothing. So the other thing that the Marxist ideology brings about is they hate religion. And I don't like religion myself, but I do like God. And and because they don't like religion, they don't also like God. So if you don't like God and you have atheistic tendencies, then why do you hate Christians so bad? Because if you're an atheist, then all Christianity is to you is somebody in a delusion, right? Because they're just doing something that you don't believe is actually true. Well, that's fine if you don't believe that God is true, but it's not. That's not true. Like, scientists have proven that the human eye is too complex to have created from amoebas and nothing. And they know this, and they know the fossil records are wrong, and they hide it just like they hide the fact that the Earth is flat and there is no infinite space like they talk about. If space was infinite, as they say, there would be no place for Lucifer to rise above, to get to God's throne, to sit there at the height. He said it's the height. God's throne is the height of all known universes to humans. God might have other places beyond what we know of. Of course he could. And it says that in Enoch, 3rd Enoch, that when God moves, when God takes the time to move from his throne to his chariot, which he can take this chariot and move up to other places if he wants to, in the sense that when he's in his self that is a being of some kind, he also is everywhere at once. And I know that's complicated to understand as well, but in 3rd Enoch it talks about how when he steps from his throne to his chariot, he looks through the entirety of 144,000 worlds. Now, that's how vast God is and how powerful God is to know all things. To look through the entirety of 144,000 worlds, but that means there's more than one world. But, like I said, we just might not have knowledge of that, access to that. It might be in other realms. We don't know. We're in our finite state right now, so we don't know a lot of things, obviously, if we still think the Earth is a ball. But like I said, the devil was trying to get above God's throne, trying to steal Adam's wife, all these different things he was laying claim that he was going to do, and God just instantly just went nope, you're going down to the sides of the pit, which is the sides of hell, basically, which is some say that at Mount Meru, the magnetic mountain that makes all compasses point north, it's right below Polaris or whatever. That's where God's throne is, above that. It actually makes up the human eye in symbolism. If you look at your eye in the mirror, the little black part is Mount Meru, and the rest of it is the dome that makes the world. And the world is the blue part or green part or brown part or whatever color your eyes are. That part is the land, and the part around is the water and the ice or whatever. I've seen it in a diagram, whatever. But God has kind of put everything that the world is in the universe that we live in is into us. And so like the way that we were made, the way that human beings were made from fine dust. In fact, it's one of the reasons Satan said he wouldn't worship us, which is the reason he got cast out as well, is because we are made of fine dust. So God really took the finest dust on this earth. He had an angel go and get it, and the angel went and got it and brought it to God, and that fine dust is what we're made of right now. And so they even say ashes to ashes and dust to dust. Everybody says it when you die. We don't think about stuff like this. It's true though. And what's crazy to me is that people just go through life hoping to obtain some amount of wealth or amount of this or amount of that, just to stay in comfort and luxury and have heated this and heated that and whatever. And never once thinking that soon when you die, you have to give an account of everything that you've done to every single human being or every single interaction that you've made on this earth. You have to give an account for that to God. And if you never loved God or thanked God or believed that Jesus is the sacrifice for your sins from God, then what the heck are you doing on this earth? What could you possibly hope to attain? All men die. Walt Disney, a witch, dead, no longer on this earth, spirit in the underworld, forever, done. And his sins continue on this earth. Even in his death, his sins continue on this earth, pumping out filth and wickedness all throughout the world. That's the legacy that Walt Disney has produced upon the earth, and that he has cities with his trash and his filth. And I think even he was wanted to marry his sister, who was named Minnie, and that's where you get Minnie from. And Mickey is the Sorcerer's Apprentice, which is basically Walt Disney who gave his soul to the devil, which they show you in Fantasia. I'm not like making it up. And he wanted to create like this New World Order type city, which is at Epcot Center. He's even got a fountain with all the different countries of the world around it, like unity. And now it comes out that Disney World is actually basically a giant field for pedophiles to find their prey. I mean, it is. You look at all the accounts of people going missing from Disney World and around Disney World. I mean, it's almost as equal to like the Finger Lakes up in New York, which Hunter Biden has a tattoo on his back of, which is also on some of the symbols of Paramount Mountain. Either it has the 22 stars above it, which is the fallen angels coming down, touching the water, which is like blasphemy against the Holy Spirit when they're saying that, in the image of Paramount Pictures coming onto the TV. And then on top of that, they also have the version where it has the Finger Lakes on it. And they've just seen recently, there's advertisements of people like, oh, come to the Finger Lakes, it's so pretty, and they show you all these pretty places up there to visit, and they all look remote and like there's nobody around. That's why they're telling you to come there, because it's like Pinocchio. You go in and you never come out, turn into a donkey and you're dead. That's what they're trying to do. Like, you don't find it weird? Joe Biden's son's name is Hunter. He's a hunter. Now, let's say there's a reptilian race out there that came from the line of Cain, and they have people out there that are there in their class. Let's say there's a reptilian class, and some of them are workers, some of the reptilian class are hunters, some of them are gatherers, some of them are super smart, things like that. Same like we have, only they have different attributes than we do, and they're more aggressive than we are, and they actually have to eat flesh of something to survive, and usually they eat humans. Does anybody remember the curse that was put upon the snake in the garden, which is the Nakash, the feathered serpent that seduced Eve sexually and then produced the child Cain, which was not like his father Adam, which because he's not his real father. He's an adopted son. You see also here that you find that Cain didn't have a human father. Guess who else didn't have a human father? Jesus Christ didn't have a human father. Why is this significant? Because Jesus was baptized in the Jordan by John the Baptist. John the Baptist, Mary, the mother of Jesus, all virgins, never had sex. What happened in the Jordan River as Adam was praying in the Jordan River, the angels protecting them went away to pray to God, as it says in the Testament of Adam that they do. They go away to pray to God, and when they did that, Satan came in and seduced Eve and impregnated her with Cain. This, what I'm saying, are the dark sayings that Jesus speaks about in the canon. Now go look up what I'm saying. Go look up online. What dark sayings does Jesus say there are, and what are they? And you come back and tell me what those dark sayings are. What dark sayings did Jesus speak of in the Bible? And if you can find them, tell me what these are, these dark sayings. And I'm telling you that what I'm saying are these dark sayings that are the truth. That Jesus counteracted everything the devil did. In fact, he even was the good son, the carpenter's son. He was the good son that was kind to his foster father and loving to his real mother. Cain was loving to Eve, but he was not kind to his foster father Adam. He didn't want to sacrifice the lamb because that was done from the beginning by Adam and his family to show that they knew that Jesus would come and save them in 5,500 years, and he did it to the day. And then he went down to the underworld, defeated Satan and death. So he defeated death, and then he defeated Satan, the father of Cain, and reversed the curse that was what happened in the garden. He reversed what the devil did. And by doing this, by Jesus doing this, it allowed him the power to take the keys of hell and death back from Satan. And these are the keys that are mentioned in Revelation 1:18. Then you go further into Revelation and you find out that there's a synagogue of Satan, an entire synagogue, a full temple of satanic people that are running the world, pretending to be God's chosen people, but they are not his chosen people. This is what Jesus says in his own words in Revelation. Revelation 2:9 and 3:9. So Revelation 1:18, Jesus has the keys of hell and death. Revelation 2:9 and 3:9, Jesus tells you there are satanic children of the devil that are running the world, that say they are Jews and they're not. And these men are the men that have crept in unawares in Jude, the half-brother of Jesus, that says that these men crept in unawares, and it has to do with the fallen angels, and it has to do with Enoch, and it has to do with the end times. We're in the end times. We know because we know the season that it is in, and we know that Elon Musk and all these people are creating artificial intelligence implants for human beings that will interface with the thing they did a couple of years ago that has been injected into people to transform them at a later time, so they can prepare their human bodies for this new computer interface that is technology given to us by the fallen angels. And that's why Jesus says that as in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the coming of the Son of Man, because people will have corrupted their bodies and their DNA. And that's what happened back then. Noah was the only one left after Enoch was taken with all the other people that were taken. And Methuselah died. There was only Noah and his family left that were righteous in their generation. Even the other people that were patriarchs and their children, some of them came down off the mountain that they were living on. In the Cave of Treasures, it tells you about this. And we're living what I'm saying to this day. This is what we are living in, and the newscasters and all the people in power that preach certain information that's not true, they are the ones that have deceived the masses through transforming into humans when they're really reptilians. And I'm not saying outer space reptilians, I'm saying they're half human, half reptilian. Some of them can transform still, some of them can't, so they have to use technology like the Bush daughters do. And if you look at their faces, you can tell what I'm saying is true. But that's it for today, guys. God bless you all. Hope you found some information in there useful. If you need to know where the text came from that I'm talking about during any of the things I ranted about, feel free to ask and I'll send you the text for free. God bless and take care.